Have you ever wondered what's the most popular car in a given year in the US? Or better yet, what was the most distinctive car in a given year? Because if you were to take a list of the most popular cars sold in a given year, you probably see something like this. Pretty boring, right? That being said, what car was the most distinctive in a given year? For example, in 2015, what car stood out, had the most hype, and took the year by storm? In this video, we'll use data from a study published by Popular Mechanics that investigates which car was the most distinctive each year from 2001 to 2021. So without further ado, let's discuss the 21st century's most popular cars. 2001, the Lamborghini Murcielago. Back in 2001, Lamborghini needed to create a successor to their ever-popular Diablo. Their new car needed to be the flagship of the company, one that would carry on the automaker's legacy in an age of ever-improving engineering and technology. Enter the Lamborghini Murcielago, the quintessential supercar, being the first model introduced by the renowned Lamborghini brand in 11 years. The Murcielago quickly garnered worldwide attention. With its sleek angular design and dramatic scissor doors, the first-generation Murcielago Coupe is a masterpiece. Paired with all-wheel drive and a Lamborghini V12 engine, the coupe accelerated from 0 to 60 in a mere 3.8 seconds. 2002, the BMW 7 Series. The all-new flagship BMW pioneered a futuristic way to operate an infotainment screen, called iDrive. It was funky to use, as were most of the other controls on a big Beamer. In fact, BMW included a cheat sheet that you could hand valets to help drive the car. Its headlights were a game changer as well. As a result, this BMW sold remarkably well. It set the tone for large sedan luxury cars for the next decade. 2003, the Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution. Fans of Mitsubishi's legendary rally cars were overjoyed when they could finally buy a Lancer Evolution. The Evo used to be a high-performance turbocharged 4-cylinder, with 286 horsepower linked to a smart all-wheel drive system, with modes for tarmac, gravel, and snow. The Evo was an animal on a good twisty back road, and a weapon on the track. The final Evos of this generation, the 2006 MR, had the most goodies, including a 6-speed manual instead of a 5-speed. 2004, the Ford GT. First debuting on the 2002 North American Auto Show, Henry Ford II was proud to show off his modern-day version of Ford's most successful supercar. A month after the release, Ford announced the Ford GT would be put into production, with the price costing around $150,000. It's surprisingly comfortable and accommodating for a high-performance sports car, and it earns that high-performance label, delivering an exciting driving experience, exhilarating speed, and superior handling, making it one of the most influential cars of 2004, and one of the most popular supercars to this day. 2005, the Ford Mustang. The auto industry and the car-buying public were equally fascinated with retro designs, and few were more successful than the 2005 Mustang. The Mustang was all new from the chassis to its rooftop, and wore sheet metal that felt like an honest reinterpretation of the 1960s. The new Mustang was great to drive, but it only got better. 2 years later, the GT500 version with a supercharged 5.4-liter V8 and 500 horsepower ran the quarter-mile in under 13 seconds. 2006, the Audi R8. Back when it was first debuted in 2006, the Audi R8 supercar was a magnificent machine. Not only was it capable and fun on a canyon road with a 420 horsepower V8, but it also proved to be a very comfortable car to daily drive. Just 2 years later, Audi launched the V10 model with 105 more horsepower. 2007, the Honda Fit. The Honda Fit definitely wasn't the most glamorous new car debut of the year, but the Fit brought together practicality, affordability, and fun like no other subcompact car at that time. The 1.5-liter 4-cylinder wasn't a screamer, but the chassis was very responsive, the steering was quick, and the 5-speed manual was one of the best of any car. 2008, the Dodge Challenger SRT8. The Dodge Challenger made waves when it was launched back in 2008. It looked just as cool as a concept car from 2 years before, and under that twin snorkeled hood was a 425 horsepower Hemi V8 hitched on an automatic transmission, and muscle car fans were in heaven. 2009, the Nissan GTR. The Nissan GTR was a Japanese exotic car fantasy for many that finally came to reality. After decades of ogling the specs of Nissan's most potent and technically advanced Skyline sports coupes from afar, GTR fans in the US finally got a taste. The 2009 version with 480 horsepower was not only ridiculously quick, but it also had computerized modes controlling almost every aspect of the drive, and it was one of the most advanced cars at the time. Today's 565 horsepower version is still a good deal at less than $100,000. 2010, the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG. The SLS AMG was Mercedes' wholly modern homage to its 1954 300 SL Coupe, aka the car with the coolest doors ever. While the new 563 horsepower 8-cylinder Love Note offers many things its forebearer did not, including air conditioning, electronic stability control, staggering power, and grip. Above all, the most important thing is you climb in through a freaking hatch, like an astronaut or a test pilot. Being behind the wheel of this car makes it feel like you can go anywhere and do anything. And isn't that what cars are all about? 2011, the Chevy Volt. The Chevy Volt was GM's electric car moonshot. The company spent, according to some estimates, close to $1 billion to develop the Volt. And as one might imagine, GM was very proud about its 400-pound T-shaped battery pack and how it fit into the chassis. GM predicted that they would sell around 60,000 each year, but it took until 2016 for the model to pass 100,000 units. 2012, the Tesla Model S. The sedan was unlike any other EV that had come before it, and thanks to a giant iPad-like center screen, brutal acceleration, and its incredible driving range, the Model S was the first EV you could take on a road trip. The top-spec Model S could reach 265 miles on a charge, and travel even further when using the company's supercharger network. 6 years later, automakers are just starting to close in on Tesla's range. 2013, the Subaru BRZ Scion FRS. The joint venture between Subaru and Toyota resulted in one very sweet sports car. The BRZ FRS twins had sharp handling as well as a low price point of just over $25,000 that made these coupes a direct competitor to Mazda's Miata, and fans of affordable performance were happy as hell. Buyers were hopeful for a turbocharged model, but it never happened. Till this day, these twins have barely changed, aside from Scion going bankrupt. 2014, the Chevy Corvette. New Corvettes don't happen very often. The last one, the C6, had been around since 2005, and in terms of design, it was really just a bad derivative of what came before it. However, the new 7th generation of America's sports car broke through with new styling, a new 455 horsepower V8, and 5 drive modes to adapt the Vette to any road or track. 1 year later, the high-performance Z06 model joined the group, and then there was a 755 horsepower ZR1 that went for a cool $120,000. 2015, the Dodge Challenger Hellcat. The muscle car business is by nature a game of one-upmanship, so it was definitely inevitable that someone would eventually top the 662 horsepower Ford Mustang GT500. But nobody except the mad scientists at Dodge expected the 700 horsepower threshold to be crossed so soon. Its 6.2-liter supercharged Hemi V8 conjures up a tire and soul-melting 707 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque, and this car single-handedly took 2015 by storm. 2016, the Mercedes-Benz G500 4x4 squared. By far the best, most outrageous, and most amazing vehicle in 2016 was the Mercedes-Benz G500 4x4 squared. This monstrosity drives a lot better than the normal G-Wagon, thanks to its widened track, and makes the gyro feel like they can go anywhere and over anything. You may think that the G-Wagon is too boxy. You might not care about SUVs. You might even think such a vehicle is an incredible waste of resources. But you have to admit, this thing sliding around dirt is nothing but spectacular. 2017, the Bugatti Chiron. 2017 was definitely the year of the supercar. Porsche's 911 GT2 RS, the McLaren 720S, and Ford's radical new GT all delivered breathtaking, yet equally different high-performance driving experiences. But in a year of super laxatives, the one car that brushed them all imperiously aside was the Bugatti Chiron. The fastest, most powerful, street-legal production car in history, the Chiron is an automotive engineering benchmark for the ages, and a car that redefines the performance envelope for internal combustion engines. An 8-liter, 16-cylinder engine uses 4 turbochargers to make 1,500 horsepower and 1,080 pound-feet of torque, and it had a 0 to 60 time of 2.3 seconds. Calling its acceleration heroic would be an understatement. 2018, the Tesla Model 3. Tesla's third all-new model since the very first Roadster debut a decade ago promised a tantalizing sports sedan, a price tag far cheaper than the Model S, a 300-mile range, 0 to 60 around 3 seconds, and nimble handling. Tesla definitely delivered on the specs, and the car officially went on sale in 2017, yet less than 2,000 cars were built. In 2018, Elon Musk's car company has far proven that it can mass-produce EVs. As of August, Tesla has sold over 50,000 Model 3s and has become one of the best-selling cars in the US. 2019, the Chevy Corvette C8. In 2019, most of the car news was around electricity. Tesla unveiled its radical interpretation of the pickup, the Cybertruck. Ford announced that its EV crossover would bear the name Mustang. But for most car enthusiasts, the biggest story of the year had to do with the 6.2-liter V8. After years of rumors, Chevy revealed that it had taken one of the most famous, most historically significant vehicles ever and moved the engine from the front to the middle. The result was a high-performance 2-seater that quartered flat, could hit 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds, and sold for just under $60,000. The performance benefits were so dramatic that Chevy eventually abandoned its original plan to continue selling the front-engine model. From here on out, the Corvette is going to be mid-engine. 2020, the Ford Bronco. It's definitely not easy to reinvent an icon, but Ford has done it with the Bronco. After years of speculation, the Bronco made its debut for 2021 with retro-inspired styling that's a clear tribute to Broncos of the past. The new Bronco looks not only to be the most capable high-tech Bronco ever, but one that raises the bar for every SUV on the market. The Bronco won't just be a looker though. It has the hardware to back it up. Locking differentials, 37-inch bead-lock tires, and a 7-speed manual with a super low crawling gear are just some of its trail-ready trappings, though some off-road purists may question the efficacy of the Bronco's independent front suspension. 2021, the Rivian R1T. 2021's most talked about vehicle just might be the Rivian's R1T. First introduced in 2018, the four-door electric truck has a range of approximately 314 miles, 835 horsepower, and can tow loads up to 11,000 pounds. The R1T has been in development for a decade, and there's definitely been a lot of buy-in so far. Ford and Amazon have invested around $1.2 billion into the company. As the R1T rolls off the production line and into driveways this year, we'll definitely be interested to see if it lives up to the hype. Well guys, those are the most popular cars in the US from 2001 to 2021. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up. Also, if you like what you see at the channel, subscribe and put post notifications on. You could also follow the channel on Instagram at Modern Muscle YT. I'm Jeff from Modern Muscle, and I'll see ya next time.